Hello, so we're going to continue. I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter today, but I did want to post the next part for those that are keeping up. So let's just start by, let's call in our angelic guides, our highest self, our highest, wisest healing self, so that we can take in exactly what we need to take in, so that our energetic bodies can receive the codes that are meant for us out of this video, because there are codes, and understand that as we actually start to receive different codes from information, it might not activate in our energetic body straight away, but seeds are being planted, and when we are aligned with a certain vibration, it's like we then get the key to unlock that code, and that code comes into our life. This is why I say, when you're interacting with something like this that we're interacting with, it might be days, weeks, months, years later that things just start to unfold. That is the beauty of being a spiritual being. So, right? Exactly. I absolutely love that. It just seems to do it when I say the most, what I feel is like wise. So brilliant. So we're calling our team, we're calling in the beautiful, amazing dragons. Let's call in all of the elementals, the fairies, all of our spirit animals. I might have said already, but spirit animals are just making themselves known to me so much right now in so many different ways, as I'm sure that is happening to you, that you just start to realize that the animals and nature is communicating within you. Maybe getting visions, but even if you're not getting visions, you can still pick up these cues that the animals and nature is communicating to you. Maybe you just keep seeing a certain animal. Maybe it's just like, with me often, even though I do get visions, that is still coming online. Often it's like something will be shown to me. It's almost like it just gets, there's like a pause or something. I just know that Spirit is saying, bank that. That's going to show itself to you later. So, however it happens for you, just trust yourself. Okay, so let's continue. Her beloved Dapnic. So these are like what we would see as gardeners, people that look after allotments. Anastasia enthusiastically explained to me how many new opportunities could open up for people who communicate with plants. I have to say, guys, I've almost started, I think I've already spoke about talking to plants, etc. I've always done that, but I've really started making even more of an effort to go around my plants in the morning, say morning to them, and just give them a little kiss. There were two major subjects she talked about, not only with particular excitement and animation, but I would have to admit with a kind of love, namely bringing up children on the one hand and Dapnics on the other. According to everything she said about these people and the importance she attached to them, we would all need to literally bow on our knees before them. Just think, according to her, the Dapniks have not only managed to save the whole nation from famine, but also sown seeds of good in people's hearts and are educating the society of the future. There are far too many points to emanate here. One would need a whole book, and Anastasia kept on arguing, trying to demonstrate this. You see, the society you are living in today can learn a lot from communication with plants, to be found around Dapnics. That's so true, right? We know this when we're in nature, we spend time in nature, we feel healed, we get information, we get inspiration, we get communication. Yes, I am talking about the Dapnics, where you personally know every single plant in your garden plot, and not those huge impersonal fields cultivated by monstrous, senseless machines, right? It's about that connection of consciousness. I think I said, when I became vegetarian, when I started to realize about factory farming, I started to wake up to the fact that what we interact with, what we put into our mouths, well, it's seeded with the consciousness of how it's being tended to. So let's think about these big fields of food and big fields of food, and think about these machines. If there's no love given to that land, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, because actually I believe many farmers do that with their lands, are very connected to their lands and give love to their lands, obviously factory farms aside, right? But it's so important that we interact with what we are what we are bringing into our bodies. We interact with it with love, with compassion, with an understanding that it is conscious and it is alive, and it might be there to serve a purpose for humans, but it has to be done in a way of reverence and respect. And in doing that, then we are bringing that reverence and respect into the body. If we are doing it with no consciousness, with no love and no care, then that's what's coming into the body too. And if we are doing it with trauma, which is what happens in factory farms, then trauma is coming into the body too. So it does impact us because we are connected to everything. You see, society, okay. Yes, I'm talking about the Dachnics where you personally know every single plant in your garden plot and not those huge impersonal fields cultivated by monstrous, senseless machines. People feel better when they are working in their Dachna plots. Many of them end up living longer. They become kinder. And it is these very Dachnics that can pave the way for society to become aware of how destructive the technocratic path can be. Beautiful white butterfly outside. I'm just seeing so many beautiful butterflies today. Anastasia, whether that's true or not is for the time being, besides the point. What is your role in all of this? What kind of help can you offer? Taking me by the arm, she led me over to the grass. We lay on our backs, our palms of our hands turned upwards. Close your eyes, let's go, and try to picture to yourself what I am saying. Right now I shall take a look with my ray and locate at a distance some of those people we call Dachnics. After a long period of silence, she began to say softly, an old woman is unwrapping a piece of cheesecloth in which cucumber seeds have been soaking. The seeds have already begun to develop quite a bit, and I can see little sprouts. Now she has picked up a seed. I have just suggested to her that she should not soak the seeds that way. They will become deformed when they are planted, and this kind of water is not good for them. The seed will go bad. She thinks herself must have guessed that, and that is partially true. I just helped her guess a bit. Now she will share her idea and tell other people about it. This little seed is done. And that's true, right, in a way. We carry codes, and our codes can activate other people's codes. But the truth is, everything that you interact with, every time you're interacting with a healer or a spiritual teacher, let me just check my battery's not gonna die here. Let me just plug in 1 second. I think it will be fine, but just in case. You know, the truth is we heal ourselves, right? The truth is that I know as a healer, I am a code activator. I carry codes that I seed into people's energetic bodies, and it is themselves that unlock these codes as they come into that vibration. So we're working on lifting that vibration through transmuting and removing blocked emotions and looking at what we're consuming in our energy fields and our consciousness. We're bringing in the light to transmute, to change perspectives. And as we're doing that, the vibration is lifting. As the vibration is lifting, those codes are being activated. As they're being activated, what you're accessing is your own knowledge inside of you. Because really what she's saying is that woman already knew the truth. She already knew what to do for the highest good of those seeds. It's just due to programming, etc., due to the vibration she was in. She wasn't quite at that vibration to access that information, that truth. And then she's helped her with her code to activate the truth that is already inside of her. Anastasia told how she visualizes in her consciousness all sorts of situations involving work, recreation, and people's interactions, both with each other and with plants. When the situation she has visualized comes close to reality, contact is established, whereby she can see the person and feel what this person is suffering or sensing. She herself then, as it were, steps into the image of the person and shares her expertise with them. Anastasia said the plants react to people, to man, with love or hate, and exercise a positive or negative influence on people's health. So that's obviously how it comes back to us, right? For good or for bad, it's up to us. We make the choice. And here is where I have an enormous amount of work to do. I keep myself busy with the Dachnik garden plots. The Dachniks travel out to their plots, their plantings, as though they were going to visit their own children, but unfortunately, their relationship to them is still pretty much on the level of intuition. Oh, I haven't turned it actually on. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. They still don't have the foundation that comes with a clear realization of the true purpose behind this relationship. Everything but everything on the earth, every blade of grass, every little bug has been created for man. And everything has its individual appointed task to perform in the service of man. The multitude of medicine plants are a confirmation of this, right? There's so much medicine in the plant world. Nature has everything that we need. We've just been distorted from that, but we're going back to that, right? This is starting to awaken in so many of us. Most people are sick of being sick. They're sick of being told that there is no cure and that their fate is outside of their hands, because that is not the truth. You know, this is actually a trial that I do with my patients. I've just opened up, I've just started, and I'm opening up to a wider audience where, you know, my intention is to prove that healing is within you. Healing is what your soul does and your body does. As your body aligns to receive that level of light into the body, and then that is just a byproduct. Healing happens as a byproduct of aligning with the soul to come into the body, of moving out those emotional wounds of the body. You know, that is my intention, to be able to go through this process with my clients and for us to be able to prove that that is so. So the multitude of medicine plants are a confirmation of this, but people in the world know very little about how to benefit from the opportunities they are presented with, about how to take full advantage of them. I asked Anastasia to show some concrete example of the benefits of conscious communication, an example that could be seen, verified in practice, and subject to scientific investigation. Anastasia thought for a little while. Don't know why that just popped up. That was interesting. A few little distractions popping up today. Anastasia thought for a little while, then suddenly brightened and exclaimed, "The Dachniks, my beloved Dachniks, they will prove it all. They will show what is true and confound all your scientists, all your science. Now, how is it I did not think of that or understand it before?" Some kind of brand new idea made her bubble over with joy. I must say that the whole time I was with her, not once did I see Anastasia sad. And here's we're seeing about how we activate each other's codes, right? How, you know, Anastasia's got so much clarity because she's not had all the interference that many of us have had. But she still has been activated by Vladimir being there, right? It's activating things in her as well. So in this interaction, both are learning and growing and expanding in ways. So we can think that we are the teacher and that we have a student, but often, you know, those roles throughout that relationship will reverse, and you will be student. You know, this is absolutely what happens with me and my clients. Yes, I am a teacher in this experience, but often I am taught also by my clients, things that they experience, come up with, things that they say, ahas that come through, they also teach me as well. It's a win-win situation. I see Anastasia sad. She can be serious, thoughtful and concentrated, but more often than not delighting in something. This time her joy literally bubbled over. She jumped up and clapped her hands, and it seemed to me as though the whole forest had become brighter and begun to stir, responding to her with the rustling of treetops and the singing of birds. She whirled round and round as though she were doing a kind of dance. Then, all radiant, she once again sat down beside me and said, "Now they will believe. All on account of them, my dear Dachniks. They will explain and prove everything." Trying to bring her a little more quickly back to the topic of our interrupted conversation, I noted, "Not necessarily. You say that every little bug has been created for man's benefit, But how can people believe that when they look with so much loathing on the cockroaches crawling over their kitchen tables? I have to say, I was on holiday. It just brought me back to a memory. I was on holiday with my friend last year. It was actually, we were just getting back on the 4th of September, so it was literally a year ago, being the 10th of September today, and we was walking back to our hotel room, and I was just pulled, my consciousness was just pulled to the floor, and there was this cockroach, and it was on its back, and its legs were going like mad, and it couldn't move, and oh my God, they give me the creeps. They do give me the creeps. But I felt a connection I felt the cockroach say, "Hey lady, help me, I need some help." And I was scared, right, because they freak me out, but I could not walk past and leave this cockroach on its back. So I got a leaf, and I literally went over to, I mean, my friend was at the other side, she's literally scared of spiders and everything. She was like, "I'm not dealing with it." And I flipped it over. Oh my God, I flipped it. It ran so fast. It freaked me out. I'm going to tell you, I jumped. But I felt, I helped the cockroach. And then it happened again, a second time. But this time it was a bit like, because it ran so fast, I was like, oh, and there was a maintenance guy walking past, and I was like, "Oh, could you get this?" And he picked it up and put it outside for me. So I was like, so interesting, the cockroach is coming up. But again, I felt it asking for help. Now, I've seen this often with bees in the middle of a path, just on their back, stuck on their back in the middle, and someone's just going to walk and understand them. So I've got a leaf and I've moved them to the side. Sometimes they need our help too. Rather than what people do, right, with spiders, people are programmed to fear creatures, and you've got these little creature spiders, and how many people just kill spiders, just don't even think about what they're doing, just kill them because they're fearing this little tiny creature, and they think that it's okay to just take life with no thought or reverence. Now, what I want to say is, people do that because we're programmed from kids to not have any reverence for life, right? So we see programs on TV where spiders are just killed, and everyone just accepts that as being acceptable and okay, that it's okay to kill something or harm something if it creates a fear inside of us. That is a very evil program that's been programmed into the collective. I tell this story about, it was maybe 20 years ago, right? Yes. When I killed a spider, I was in hot yoga, Bikram yoga. I was right at the end. This spider crawled over my mat, and I actually killed it, not because I was scared of it, but because I didn't want to make a fuss. I didn't want people's attention on me. I didn't want to have to pick it up, walk all the way across the class, out of the building. I felt fear about that, right? I just felt, I don't want to make a fuss. I don't want to be like, everyone's in the middle of the class. I draw attention to myself, all these things, right? So I got my towel and I put it over the spider and I squashed it, and I swear to God, it still haunts me, right? Because although really that spider gave its life and saved so many other spiders, because it raised my consciousness. In doing that afterwards, I felt awful. I felt so bad for taking its life for no reason, just because I was scared of picking it up, this tiny little spider, and walking and I was scared of disturbing people. So instead of disturbing people, I took a life, right? And we've been programmed to believe that lives of spiders are insignificant, right? So instead of dealing with it, I took a life. And I actually saw, I swear to God, like afterwards, I kept thinking that I saw the legs just moving, like it was saying, "You've killed me, you've killed me." It haunted me, but it changed my consciousness, right? And in that, I forgive myself for that, right? Because I was in a lower level of consciousness. It expanded my consciousness. Since that point, I realised, I started to see those programs that made life insignificant, that made us believe that we were justified in taking life if something was scary to us, right? This is how wars happen, right? This is how they justify genocides and things like that. They justify culling of animals and things like that. Culling of people through, well, if we feel scared, it's okay to kill people, right? This is part of the evil programming. So that spider that spider lives on, right? Because it saves so many lives. And through that, I've worked with many people in hypnosis to help them as well move out of that fear so that they no longer take those lives neither. So it died for a reason, but we can see how, watch it on programs, see how a spider will run across, think about programs like acrophobia that have been there to make us fear spiders. It's not that you shouldn't have a healthy respect for them. If we really understood spiders, we wouldn't fear them. What I would say is this has been coming to my conscious, right? I'm going to do a free hypnosis to help people that are fearing spiders, because it's not a logical fear, right? So don't feel guilty, don't feel bad. It's not a logical fear when it comes to spiders. It's a subconscious program where there's been a fear attached to it when you were little. Maybe you watched one of those films, maybe one crawled across you and your parents screamed. I don't know, there can be many reasons why you fear spiders. So then it's just this subconscious fear that comes out of you. It's not rational, and you try and you kill a spider because you're so scared of it. However, spiders are scared of you. They're absolutely petrified of these giants that come up to them. So they'll either curl up in a ball and hope that you'll just leave them alone and not kill them because they want to survive, they want to live, or they'll run away, right? And often people just go around chasing the poor little thing. So I am going to do that. I don't know when, but check out my channel perhaps at some point this year. That's on the list. I'm going to release that free for people because the more spiders that we can save, the better. So you say that every little bug has created for man's benefit, but how can people believe that when they look at they look with so much loathing on the cockroaches crawling over their kitchen tables? What can it be that they too have been created for our benefit? Cockroaches, declared Anastasia, will only crawl over a dirty table to collect the remains of any food particles lying about, particles too small for the human eye to see. They process them and render them harmless before discarding them in some secluded spot. If there happen to be too many of them, simply bring a frog into the house and the surplus cockroaches will disappear at once. Okay. I mean, luckily, I don't have that problem here. I don't have loads of cockroaches because I must say I would not like it. And I would be looking for a frog. When Anastasia went on to propose the Dachnics do will probably contradict the principles of the plant sciences and will certainly contradict the commonly accepted methods of planting and cultivating various garden plot crops. Her affirmations, however, are so colossal that it seems to me they would be worth trying out for anyone with the opportunity to do so. Maybe not throughout their whole plot, but at least in one small section of it, especially since nothing harmful and only good can come of it. Besides, much of what she told me has already been confirmed by the experiments of the biological scientist expert Mikhail Provorov. Right, so I'm going to leave it there today, but I thought that was quite an interesting chapter and lots came up there. And hopefully that you enjoyed that. Hopefully you're going to look at spiders in a new way, and if you do have a fear of spiders, then keep your eye out in the next. I need to make a commitment to this or else I'm not going to do it. In the next month, the next 4 weeks, I'm going to release it, and I'll still be reading this book, so I'll link it to one of these videos so that if you do have a fear, you can start doing that hypnosis and you can let go of that fear. Okay, thank you.